Life can change in an instant. If you've been hurt in an accident, suffered from medical negligence, or are facing criminal charges, you don't have to face it alone. At Ryan Miller and Coburn, we're here to listen and fight for you. We're your neighbors, traveling across Montana to stand by your side as your link to justice. Real people, real help, right here in Montana. Ryan Miller and Coburn, your Montana attorneys.
Jewelry Design Center. We want to be your jeweler for life.
Well, daytime hit with our man Jordan Tripp here on the Big Sky Breakdown. What's up, buddy? I haven't seen you in a couple weeks. How you been?
I know, man. How's it going? It's good to be back in the groove here.
First of all, you did a great job on the call a couple weeks ago. It was so fun listening to you and Coach Ty and I mean, of course, Trey. He's the man. I mean, but it's just, he's been doing this for a long time. But it's awesome the way you guys were playing off each other. It's really fun to listen in. So you got to tell us what'd you think of the game? I mean, that was an awesome game. That was an awesome
it was incredible.
on both sides.
Obviously, like selfishly, some Montana fans probably wouldn't think this. Selfishly, I wanted the Griz to win. That Montana State, the ball bounced their way a few times, and both teams I thought played really clean football. Both teams did not play bad. I mean, the tip pass to Michael Wortham, 99 out of 100 times he probably catches it. He puts it out in front of him. Caden Daller's, Johnny on the spot and makes a beautiful play. There was, I think, 3 plays in that game that decided the game. And you could maybe throw a fourth in there, but that's what happens when you get good teams. So anyway, I walk in the door. I said, it didn't really fit to my wife. I said, it didn't really feel like Montana lost that game. I said, I think that Montana State the ball bounced their way a couple of times. They took advantage of a couple more opportunities, and I think that they're going to play again. And I even went as far to say that, I mean, who knows who's going to be listening to this. My prediction was I think that they're going to play again, and Montana's going to win, and this team's going to have a shot at the national championship. So, obviously we'll get to this weekend and what's going on with this South Dakota State team. But I thought that the Montana State game was great. It was fun to watch. It was clean football. It was really clean football. But that one drive, the legal man downfield holding on the touchdown block kick, that was the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, that was the game. The bad bounce too off when Wortham got it off his hands, but then the other part is certainly those two things really held the Griz back. The other part, though, is that Montana had a chance at the end. That's the one thing I have to say.
Got to get off the field.
You got to get off the field, man. You got him in 3rd and medium 3 times. You got him in 4th and 1. You got to get off the field. So,
and that's where I credit Montana State for staying on the field. And the one thing where both teams, it was that final drive, and that's where I think Montana State performed when the game was on the line, when they needed to. Had Montana, not had the tip pass for pick 6 and the touchdown call back, that's 2 plays and 14 points that can change a game like that. And then you're in a situation, if you're Montana State, where you're throwing in that situation. It's a 14-point swing. Kick doesn't get blocked. Now you're talking 17 points. But that's the thing in a game that's a 2-3, to where it reminded me of an NFL game, because the margin of victory and the margin of error is so slim. I felt like every game in the NFL, we were always talking about 4 or 5 plays. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's how that game was. And it's not 2 NFL teams, but it was just 2 good teams. And Montana State, at the end of the day, ball bounced their way and they stayed on the field. So ball's not always going to bounce your way. And when you have your opportunities, you got to capitalize. And they didn't. You're dead right. They had an opportunity to get off the field, and they didn't.
It was an NFL style game too, right?
It was, man. It was
just
so
in terms of the limited possessions and okay, we have a powerful drive. This team has a powerful drive. Like both teams were trying to limit possessions so much, and And I mean, it was cool. The best part to me about the whole deal, though, was we've seen one side rise to the occasion for the hype meter, and the other side fold so badly the last 5 times, and they both raised their level. It reminded me of the old school games, how it's supposed to be. Like, that's how it used to always be. And then for whatever reason, the last 5 years, it's been like one team's flying high and the other one's just melting. And it's like, it's fun to watch, but also it's terrible to watch because you just don't want people to like not perform up to their level. I thought both teams rose to the occasion big time, though.
They absolutely did. It was just, again, I'm going to beat a dead horse. It was just good, clean football. And yeah, man, it was a fun one to call. And like I said, during the game, just not arrogantly, but speaking of like on my and Ty's part and Trey's part, calling the game, like you're calling it objectively, calling it down the middle. I know that pisses some people off. I want Montana to win, but at the end of the day, man, like I'm just watching good football and giving kudos to who's doing,
Yeah.
Good. So it's one of those things where like, are they going to see each other again? I mean, I don't know. It was just tough, man, to after the game go, damn, Montana should have pulled it out with that last drive, but they didn't. And Montana State, it just shows the power and the quality of both programs.
Totally.
And the ability to perform when stakes are high. And like you said, so many of the teams in the past have melted under whatever you want to call it, pressure. It just shows the quality of ball in the Big Sky Conference.
Yeah.
The Comedy Night Showcase hits DraftWorks Brewery on November 6th at 8:30 p.m. Tickets are $30 and include entry plus 2 drinks. Grab yours at draftworksbrewery.com before they're gone. Come thirsty and laugh until your cheeks hurt.
What up, E?
What's going on? Man, those are some nice medals.
Yeah, man, these are hard to come by.
Yeah, well, I've got 2 of them.
Well, that's nothing like going to March Madness, though.
We did go to a national championship.
Okay, guys, whatever. Let's just get on the Montana party bus and head over to Press Box for lunch.
Yeah.
Nuanez now and Skyline Sports, covering Montana athletics and the Big Sky Conference better than anybody. The Montana Party Bus and the Press Box are also proud supporters of Montana athletes.
Hey, cheers to you guys, man. Cheers to Montana. Cheers to chasing more champions.
Here at Five Valleys Restoration, your view is our view, and what a beautiful view it is. We are proud to be locally owned, locally operated. We love our community here in Missoula and also the full Five Valleys that we do service. We give back to the community, we service our community. Our kids go to school here, we live here, we play here, and we love it here.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this a lot. I've been thinking about how the level that Montana and Montana State have reached. And part of that the level they've reached is because of this the dilution of the FCS. Like there has been some teams that have left. But I do think when people say that an FCS title isn't as important and is easier to win than it used to be, that's wrong. I think there's less depth in the subdivision, but the bar to win a national title has never been higher because you have like 4 or 5 schools that are actually playing real, like top-notch FBS football. Like they're playing a way higher level of football than a lot of the teams in the group of 5 and stuff. And so I've been thinking about this part a lot lately, though. I've been thinking about how, from my seat, somebody that covers both Montana and Montana State, I often wonder if sometimes we're actually too critical on either side. Because like if Montana or Montana State existed and they weren't in the same state as each other, I don't think there would be so much like criticism. Like, for example, the Griz lost the Cat Griz game. So now like people are criticizing that result when they went 11-1. Like if they're in a different state or it's a game that's played at a different time, even North Dakota State, South Dakota State, they got a great rivalry with a
And you're not criticizing the marker.
Like, okay, one team won and one team lost. That's fine. Okay, then you got another whole other month of games, and now you're in the playoffs, and they're both going to contend for the national championship, and that's what it is. It's just so interesting to me, right? Because like both teams, they are 2A and 2B in the country right now.
Yes.
But whoever's B gets criticized all the live long day because they're not A, even though they're better than everybody besides one other school. It's just amazing to really think
It
about.
is. That is such a good point, Coulter. Like you have Montana and Montana State in the same conference, one of the oldest rivalries. So like the hate is there in that game is literally it's everything for the fan bases. And then if you take a step inside the locker room, yes, it's important to the players, yes, it's important to the coaches, but it is a game on the schedule and you got to keep your mind on the bigger picture. And that's where like if it was a Montana and an Idaho or a Montana State and a Nevada, where the old conference, the way that it used to be, um, those games are important, but they're not everything. It is like, okay, you lost by 3 points to, a national contender when you are a national contender, but it gets so blown out of proportions. Like you're the 3 seed and 11-1, and then if the roles are flipped, SDSU beats Montana State in double overtime in week 2 of the season. If that's a week 10 game, or like it's just going to be flipped. So anyway, my point is both of those teams are exceptionally good.
Yes.
The heightened like microscopic, speck, in your eye just looking is just it's out of this world, man. It's freaking you're the 3 seed and you're 11-1 if you're Montana.
Oh, right. And I mean, you look at Montana State 2 years ago, they lose in South Dakota State on like what was a touchdown. I mean, they basically got screwed on a last second call. They lose. And then they lose on a missed field goal at Idaho. Then they get their asses kicked against Montana and Missoula, but then they lose on a blocked extra point. And so you got 4 losses, 3 of them that are like completely narrow, margin of victory is this much, and the world is burning down. But like, good job by Brent Vegan. He did make a couple incremental adjustments, and then the next year they go undefeated, right? So, yeah, I think that's part of it too. I think that's also why both the head coaches right now at the 2 schools are so built for this. Because like they're not listening to the outside noise. Like Bobby Houck is just telling them, hey, let's readjust. We got exactly what we wanted in front of us. Let's go figure this out. Let's go make a run.
If you're a head coach, and I haven't talked to him about this, but if you're Coach Houck, and I just know how he is in that meeting room, it is in my opinion, here's the message. We played our best game of the season, with the exception of the last drive and a couple of things that didn't go our way. You go out and show up the way that they did against Montana State. That is that first drive of the third quarter was the best drive of the season. 16 plays.
Yep.
I mean, all the way down the field, firing on all cylinders. I think the defense played their best game of the season against a top FCS opponent, and they didn't get off the field at the end of the game when they needed to. Look, man, it's football. They are good too. Like they are going to make plays too. Credit Montana State for staying on the field, but it's like the old adage, like if you win, nothing's wrong. If you are in a building after a loss, especially like a Montana or a winning program, it's like this panic button, so to speak, or the fandom goes, we got to change everything. What the hell's wrong with this? It's like 31-28. Give me 3 plays and it's a 17-point swing. And then all of a sudden you blow out Montana State. But that's not what happened. And that's just one of those things where this is football and you need to have, this is where you find out where good teams separate from great teams, to where you show up the next week and then you play your best football and you continue to progress regardless of what the scoreboard says. Because at the end of the day, the scoreboard is the scoreboard. 3 different plays does not change the outlook of how you did or did not perform in the game. It's just a win or a loss. And that sounds stupid, but it's true, man. Like, anyway, that's
ESPN did the cool piece that you and I were texting about, and it featured your family. But there was the one quote from Bobby in there where he deadpanned and he was like, "I don't stay in Bozeman because the hotels are too expensive." I thought about that because at the press conference preceding the rivalry game, Sean Rainey asked Bobby about the Cats had not given up a third quarter point all year long except for to Oregon, and Bobby goes, "Really? I didn't know that." He absolutely knew that. And then when they were in the middle of the 16-play 93-yard drive, I was just cracking up because I was like, first of all, Coach Houck absolutely knew that statistic, and he had a full plan to make sure his team was the one that made sure to drive down there and get the third quarter points. I thought that was such a good, obviously a well-executed drive, but also it was so brilliant because they literally made it last until the stadium was back full. Because
It did. It was like 8 minutes. I mean, it was a long 16. I mean, it was a
we were
yeah,
looking around, I was on the field at that moment, and
empty, and then it just
we were looking around though, and I was like, man, do they? Because you know how it goes. Grizz fans are the best fans, but they also just like can't not go chug a few sodas in the parking lot. And I'm looking around, I'm like, do these people realize this is like an all-time classic game? Like,
yeah.
get your ass back in the stands. What's going on? But
Gotta
then, of
get a
course,
shot in the beer, man.
the drive lasted long enough that then everybody was back in. So it was masterful for multiple reasons. But I agree with you. I thought that was the best drive of the season. If they can replicate that, that's gonna be a tough offensive unit to stop.
Well, it just shows what they're capable of. And I've thought that Montana, I mean, every team's different, but I thought that Montana has been dangerous all year. The consistent level of high play has become more frequent the later you got into the season, which is what you want. But Montana State has been pretty steady. They're explosive, but they're not dangerously explosive. So if they get caught in a situation where they're behind, I think that that's where they could get in trouble. But like a Montana is, they're up and down, but they're kind of just they're getting better. And I thought that that game exemplified the most consistent high level of play that they've had all season. And I think that there's more room there. I don't know if there is for some of these other teams in the FCS, and I'm not saying this from a biased, Montana fan standpoint. I really think though that if Montana can continue, hopefully and I'm sure they did, use the bye week to get healthy, clean some things up, get a fresh mind and come back and continue to progress, that they really are a national title contender. And, we've said it before. I think, again, not because I'm a Montana fan, I think that they are the team that can knock off North Dakota State. And we can get to South Dakota State here in a minute because they're extremely dangerous. They're getting healthy. Chase Mason's back. Their offensive lineman, who's a stud NFL prospect, is back. Their linebacker is back. I think those guys will play. But anyway, I think that Montana is they got room to improve. They're so talented and dangerous.
Well, let's talk about SDSU then. It's been interesting talking to that side of things this week. They are ridiculously confident coming to Missoula. And I think part of that's just because I don't think there's any mystery for why their season went awry. They lost their quarterback. They lost 5 of their starters on defense, and they were swimming upstream, and they had a whole bunch of young guys. And when they got gashed by the portal last year, because Jimmy Rogers took like 16 guys with him to Washington State, then another 5 of them went to the Big Ten. Like I was Googling a couple of the other guys, like that Wildy kid, that sweet receiver there. He's playing Northwestern. So they had a bunch of dudes bail, and they had some guys that stayed, and those were like sort of their headliners. Then some of those guys got hurt, so now they're throwing a bunch of freshmen into the fold. But like Dan Jackson said, hey, we got half the guys we lost back, and we've got the main guy back. We got the quarterback back, so we're feeling pretty good coming into this thing. It's funny because a lot of people were screaming and yelling this is a bad draw, but I just think that if you're going to make a run at the national championship, you gotta beat good teams, man, and you got them at home. So I don't know if it's a bad draw. I think it just is the draw for the Grizz.
It is the draw, and that's a good point. I mean, it's the way that you look at it. And I mean, and this is with all due respect, but like if you're a fan or you're an athlete, there's an athlete who is a fan like myself. And the way that you look at this, I go just what you said. It's like you want to welcome the most difficult, challenging opponent that you can get. You don't want to sit there and go, I want an easy draw, because in my opinion, that's a loser's mindset. You want to welcome challenge. You want to welcome difficulty, and you want to be challenged if you see yourself as the best. And is South Dakota State a top 5 team in the FCS right now? Absolutely, without a question, no doubt about it. That's why they went 7-0, and then Chase Mason gets hurt, and I mean, I could go on and on. But if you got a quarterback, you got a chance. And this kid's legitimate. He's a big, strong athlete who I think is healthier. I mean, I think that the extra week he'll probably be able to be a little bit more mobile and running, and that's where he can hurt you is on from the defensive side of the ball. But I think that you hit it, man. It's like you want that matchup. Freaking eat the frog. Let's go. You know what I mean? Like get a tough one, get it going, knock the cobwebs off. I mean, everybody in the playoffs is good. Freaking Yale's good. I don't care what the people say. Montana State's got it easy. It's like Yale just showed how dangerous they were against Youngstown State being down 28 points.
Well, right.
Like,
The thing
you
about
know what I
the
mean?
thing about people got to understand about Yale too is they're not going to have as much depth as the Cats, but like their top level talent's as good as anybody's. I mean, that running back's going to get drafted, man. I mean,
That kid's a stud. And
he's a stud, man.
if he gets rolling like he did against Youngstown State, it's like, hey, are we going to run gap scheme and zone and make you stop us and take a couple shots, hit an onside kick? I mean, it's not a walk in the park. Should the Cats drub him at home? I think that they probably will, but it's not. There's no. It's freaking playoffs. There's no easy passes, and SDSU is a really good team, and hopefully it's packed in there, and Montana finds that next gear that I think they have, and runs away with it.
Thanks so much for listening to our Big Sky Breakdown podcast series and for tuning into our Skyline Sports YouTube channel. If you have not, please rate, review, and subscribe. Particularly subscribe. Click on the subscribe button. That helps us out a ton. Thanks to our great partners who help make all of this content possible, including Ty Hobbs at Keller Williams Real Estate. Ty's a great friend of mine, guy I lift weights with in the mornings, and a guy I golf with as much as I can, but he's also an ace realtor. I did not choose him as my realtor because he's my friend, although that was a big perk. He is excellent when it comes to everything from efficiency to negotiation to no frills, no BS. He got our house on the market and got it sold in less than 24 hours, more like 4 hours. It was an impressive turnaround. He got us exactly the contract that we wanted. We needed to stay in our house for a couple months because we had a new build coming up. He negotiated that flawlessly. The negotiation part is the number one reason why we chose Ty, but he also has a great acumen when it comes to construction, building, remodels. We had a flood in our house that I needed help with repairing. Boom. He helped me out. Awesome service, awesome job. And if you're in the market for a realtor, Ty Hobbs is your guy. Let's hear more about the current real estate market from the man himself. So, two-part question. First of all, do you think that land in town is harder to come by?
It's certainly getting that way,
right?
For sure.
A lot of people, when they think, oh, I want to buy some land, they're thinking, okay, I'm going to buy it out in the Bitterroot or out towards Frenchtown way. In actual Missoula is tougher and tougher to find land, but you got a piece of land for sale right now.
Yeah, I got a great lot. Actually, it's one of the biggest lots in the Range Club right now. It's just shy of a half acre, right on number 15. So it's right on the golf course. It's a great lot. It's big. You can build any sort of custom home you want right there and be right on the golf course. Have great views of the mountains and kind of live that club life, so to speak.
So if people want to find out about that and other listings that you have, how do they find them?
Best way is just get a hold of me by phone, 406-544-9790.
Join Town Pump's Pump It Up Rewards Plus program and never pay full price for fuel again.
Save 5 cents on every gallon every day at any Town Pump across Montana.
Plus, earn and redeem points on your favorite in-store items to get free stuff with our clubs.
Stop in and pick up a rewards card. Download the Pump It Up Rewards Plus app today.
Or visit townpump.com/rewards to register and start saving.
Right down the road, pump it up, oh yeah.
Being in this industry since I was in college, one of the things I think we take the most pride in is Aspen Sound's been such a presence in Missoula for almost 40 years. The cool parts about our job is people always ask us, what do we do for a living? I sell fun, whether it's as simple as window tint all the way up to integrating a backup camera into a factory screen. Pretty excited about the options we can present.
It's such an interesting opportunity for like redemption and revenge on down the line too, right? Like for the Griz, they get to play the team that's knocked them out of the playoffs 2 years in a row, and that could set up another rematch with the Cats. For the Cats, the last team that they lost to, and one of the two teams that have been standing in their way for 5-6 years is South Dakota State, or they get another one with the rival. Everybody wants another shot at NDSU. It's just so fun the way that I actually am glad all these teams are on the same side of the bracket because now we're going to get to actually see them play.
Play out. It's so true. So this is the other thing about playing a team like South Dakota State. When you know damn good and well that if they're healthy like they are a national title contender and they're coming here, yeah, it's the first round. With that being said, wouldn't you want the team who is a national title contender to come in and you make an absolute statement? Like, that's how I think of it. It's like, yeah, come in here. Let's let's make a statement. Let's play our best game. Let's put that on film. So then when somebody else flips on the tape, they go, this is a different Montana. And then you win again. And then you go to Bozeman or whoever's, in the semi, and they go, yeah, this was who they were week 5, week 10, week 11 versus the Cats. Now look at week 12, 13, 14. This is a different team. Look how physical, look how complete, look how sharp they are. That's what and they're doing this against a grade A opponent, South Dakota State. I mean, that's what I would want. Yeah, bring your A game. Let's go put it on tape. That's what I think.
Yep. What is the key matchup in this game then?
Oh my gosh. There's a couple. You go first. I got a couple.
Well, so I actually think this is one of the hardest games to pin in any game I've ever covered in my entire 19 years as a sports writer or a broadcaster, because I saw South Dakota State live in Bozeman in week 2, and I thought that they were great on defense and that Mason is really good, and I thought that their offensive line was not very good. They were still coming together, and I thought those sort of similar strengths and weaknesses were the same thing for the first month of the season. But then they got so decimated by injuries, so then it was really hard to evaluate them. But then they've looked so great the last 2 weeks, and so much of that's just having more confidence. But they look better up front to me. I think that their offensive line has gotten better. I think that's what happens with good teams. I think everybody's offensive line at this point has probably gotten better because you just have more reps, underneath your belt, et cetera. But I think that I do think that South Dakota State's defensive line is the thing that has been consistently good all throughout the season when I watched them. So I think that's it. I think it's the battle in the trenches, as it always is. But I think it's really Montana's offensive front versus South Dakota State's defensive line.
Yeah, no, I completely second that. I think that the opportunities for Montana are going to be on the perimeter in the passing game, and then the 2 question marks I have are number 5 for Montana, is he up? And then on South Dakota State, is Chase Mason mobile? Because that completely changes the dynamic of how you're going to call a game. And if you have a number 5 on defense for Montana and what you can do schematic wise, you completely get +1 for number 7. So you go man to man, and then you bring the other guy in the box and you say, hey, 32, your job is low hole, late contain. That's it. Like, don't let him beat it. So I think it's the trenches, but I think those are the 2 question marks that I have, because it can completely change the outcome of a game if you have those 2 healthy.
It's funny too, because you and I have talked about this all year. If Keon Loud is back,
oh my gosh,
it unlocks so much stuff. And first of all, I've said this on my radio show a bunch, but I think that Kenzel Lawler got absolutely jobbed in the All Big Sky stuff. I can't believe he got.
Oh my gosh!
How does he nothing?
I guess you can only have. I think first of all, do you got to go right now?
No, we got a couple more minutes.
Okay, all right. I believe Kaylee Yayat is a first-team all-conference quarterback. 100%. No question. Kid is elite and dangerous. Lamson, he is absolutely a first-team.
They should have had 2.
I don't know how you don't, and I know that there's rules, but I think that was kind of jacked up. But yeah, man, it's just Keon Loud and the things that you can do on defense. It just absolutely changes the dynamic of your not your identity, but your ability of what you can call and how much stronger it makes you when you have a kid who can cover like that.
I mean, think about the times that this 3-3-5 has looked the best. 21 and 23 is when they had 2 elite corners. Like when they had Corbin Walker and Justin Ford, or Corbin Walker and Trevin Gradney, it unlocked everything. Their sack numbers went through the roof. The pressure numbers went through the roof. Their negative plays went through the roof. Because you have to have 2, and that's why I thought Lawler deserved some sort of a conference, because he was one guy.
Hit on that.
He was just the one guy that was sort of out there. But having Loud would unlock everything, because now if Lawler's your number 2 corner, you are dynamite at corner. Like now all of a sudden your defense is locked.
You got Harper playing the nickel or Diesel. I know they're all interchangeable, but yeah, I mean, to your point, Lawler got snubbed, and like Coach Houck would say, I mean, those are for the wall, man. Just put it on the wall, forget about it. But Lawler is he's a top corner in the Big Sky Conference.
Yeah.
I just really hope that Keon Loud's back. And the thing about Keon, though, is he's a type of athlete and talent to where I hate to use the word gamer because there's none of those with Coach Houck. That kid is so talented. And I mean, I watched him when he was hurt. He's still working on his footwork. He's still doing things after, after practice, after walkthrough. I mean, he's going to be ready to go. And I mean, that kid is by far and above the best, most talented player on that team. It is not a question. And I want to throw it out there. He is like a young Tremaine Johnson, the way that the kid play. He is so long and physical and fast. He's got an attitude, on the field. He changes who you are. He changes who you are in defense.
Yeah, I'm so interested to see the attitude that South Dakota State comes in with, because if they're as confident as they've seemed all week, this is going to be a throwdown. But I also think Montana, I mean, Coach Houck's press conference was like 8 minutes long, and his coach show was like 4 minutes long. So he's got it dialed. Like
they are locked in.
He's locked in. Yeah. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun afternoon on Saturday in Missoula. I gotta go, but good to see you, buddy, and thanks so much for being here today.
Take care. All right, thanks, Colter.
Meeting her stopped your world. The ring you give her should stop her heart.
Tina, will you marry me?
Not again! Don't worry, I'm gonna fix this, because we want to be your jeweler on our beautiful diamond! Clear! Come back to me, Tina!
Are you okay?